Okay, let's unpack this. If you're getting into Node.js development, maybe looking for a job, or just trying to get better, you're going to run into coding exercises.
Yeah, definitely.
And these aren't just like random puzzles, are they? They seem designed to test very specific things about Node and JavaScript.
Exactly. Think of them as a way to see what you know. They check your core JavaScript skills, sure, but especially those asynchronous patterns.
Ah, the async stuff. Crucial for Node.
Absolutely fundamental. Node's whole non-blocking thing depends on it. Plus, they test how you use Node's own modules, maybe even frameworks like Express.
So it's a mix. Foundational JS applied in a Node context.
Pretty much, it's about how you tackle Node's specific challenges.
Okay, so what are the main skills these exercises are really trying to gauge? What's the mission behind them?
Well, a huge one is asynchronous flow control. Node just lives and breathes async operations.
Right.
So exercises will often ask you to manage tasks that need to happen in a sequence, like fetch some data, process it, then save it.
Okay, sequential stuff.
Or maybe tasks that can run at the same time in parallel. But the tricky part is knowing when all of them are finished before you move on.
Ah, I see. So it's not just knowing async await or promises exist. It's deeper than that.
Definitely. It's understanding when to use something like promise.all for those parallel jobs, or maybe promise.race if you just need the very first result back.
It's about orchestrating the flow then.
Precisely. And here's a key thing. Getting async wrong isn't just slow. It can lead to really subtle, nasty bugs.
Like race conditions.
Exactly, race conditions, or maybe unhandled promise rejections crashing your whole app. So error handling within async code, that's often tested. It's a common place to stumble.
Makes sense. Any other async patterns they look for?
Sometimes things like debouncing or throttling function calls. Testing if you can control timing in Node's event-driven world.
Okay, so mastering async is absolutely key. What about handling the actual data once you've fetched it asynchronously?
Right, that brings us straight to array and object manipulation. Now, these are core JavaScript skills, obviously.
Sure, but essential everywhere.
Essential because Node apps are constantly transforming data. You're filtering lists, mapping data from one shape to another, reducing arrays down to a single value, sorting things.
Yes, you see that all the time.
It shows up in nearly every challenge because you almost always need to process data before you send it off or save it. An expert move is doing this efficiently, maybe without creating lots of extra temporary arrays.
Good point. Foundational JS skills are still the bedrock, even in Node. Okay, let's get into something maybe a bit more Node-specific. What about handling I/O, inputs and outputs?
Absolutely. Streams are a classic Node challenge area.
Ah, streams. I hear they come up a lot with files or network data.
They do, especially large files. The common beginner mistake is trying to load a huge file entirely into memory,
Which can crash the app, right?
instantly if the file's big enough. Streams let you process data in chunks, piece by piece as it arrives. So an exercise might ask you to, say, pipe data from a readable stream to a writable one, maybe transform it along the way.
So understanding events like data and end,
Exactly, but the deeper insight they might be looking for is if you understand back pressure.
back pressure. What's that?
It's about managing flow. If you have a really fast source stream feeding data to a slower destination stream, how do you prevent the fast one from overwhelming the slow one?
Ah, so you need to signal back to slow down.
Precisely. Handling back pressure correctly is a sign you really understand streams.
Okay, handling large data efficiently is super important. And since many Node apps are web services, I guess basic API endpoints get tested too.
Oh, definitely. Often using a framework, typically Express, can you create routes? Handle DT requests, POSD requests, parse data from the request body.
The standard stuff.
The standard stuff, but maybe also implementing simple middleware, those functions that run during the request response cycle.
Like for logging or maybe a quick authentication check.
Exactly. They're looking to see if you can structure a basic web handler and manage how the request flows through it.
Got it. So that covers the sort of application layer. What about showing, Node's own tools, its built-in parts?
Yeah, that's core module usage. Can you say, read a file using the FS module, the file system module, but do it asynchronously?
The non-blocking way.
Always the non-blocking way in Node, ideally. Or maybe build a super simple web server just using the built-in HTTP module without Express. Or use the events module to implement an event emitter pattern.
So showing the engine itself.
That's a good way to put it. It shows you understand Node's native abilities and how to use them correctly, especially in that async context.
And sometimes It feels like they just throw in a standard computer science problem, like something from a textbook.
They do. Data structures and algorithms DSA pop up. You might have to implement a sorting algorithm or traverse a tree or a graph.
But in JavaScript.
Right. The algorithm itself might be standard CS fare, but you're implementing it in JavaScript, often within a node context. So maybe the nuance is how it interacts with async operations or fits into the node application.
It's interesting how these different areas often seem to combine in one problem.
Oh yeah, they definitely build on each other. An exercise might ask you to read a big CSV file from a web request.
Okay, so that's API handling,
Process the data row by row,
streams, and data manipulation.
and then save the results somewhere else.
Async flow control to manage it all. Wow, yeah, that hits multiple points.
Exactly. Or maybe implement some kind of queue that processes tasks concurrently, but only, say, 5 at a time. That's async control, maybe using the events module, managing state testing several skills at once.
So wrapping this up, what's the big picture for someone practicing these? What does mastering these exercises really mean?
Well, it means you're covering the essential building blocks. You understand how to manage async flow, how to handle data effectively, how Node deals with I/O-like streams, how to build basic web services, and how to use its core parts.
It's not just about solving the puzzle in front of you.
No, not at all. It's about building the foundation for writing applications that are efficient, scalable, and reliable, code that actually works well in the real world. These exercises push you to think about performance and correctness in Node's unique environment.
Right, the difference between code that just works and code that works well.
Exactly.
So thinking about all these different areas, here's something for you, the listener, to consider. Which specific pattern or module, maybe it's getting async error handling really nailed down, or truly understanding stream back pressure, or finding more efficient ways to transform large data sets, feels like your next big step on the road to mastering Node.js.